Welcome back to another Combine Wars review, and something a little different than advertised, because I said at the end of the Menasor review that I would review Blackjack and Groove, the little Stunticon and Protector Bot tip pieces. But I've decided I'm going to hold off on those two for now. I'm going to get through the Bruticus reviews, because then I can put all my combiners back together. Right now they're still separated for comparison reasons. So I'm going to get through the Bruticus reviews, the 5 Combaticons, then Bruticus himself, and then I'll get to the 2 tip pieces. And then, yeah, everything can be reassembled and I get some space on my fucking table again. So, kicking off the Combaticons review, and we have Swindle. Look forward to reviewing this guy, because I did Hound a while back and I fucking love that figure. And I compared him with Rook, and today we're going to go through Swindle, compare him with Hound and Rook, and see where he stacks up. All of these, again, because we're right at the arse end of the Scramble combiners, Bruticus is my last Scramble combiner, they will all have something to compare to. Onslaught and Hotspot. Vortex and Blades and Alpha Bravo, Brawl, Drillhorn and Iron Bison, and Blast Off with Firefly, I believe. You know, considering how many repaints there are, I'm surprised at how few of certain ones I have. I thought I'd have, I've got 3 of this one, sort of, but the Blast Off Jet, I've only got 2. Tanks 3, but 2 of them are on 1. Lio Kaiser. The choppers, I think I've only got 2 of the choppers. 3 of the choppers, sorry, but it's really not that much of an epidemic as people say it is. But yeah, especially when ones show up so different to the others. So we've seen enough evidence of that in the past. The only one I've got more than 3 of, and you might argue 3 is a lot for one, but the only one I've got more than 3 of is the Prowl, Smokescreen, Streetwise, and Dead End figures. Well, it's all good fun, isn't it? Anyway, on with Swindle. Let's check his head sculpt out first. It's a very nice head sculpt, as they all are. They all have those very G1-esque head sculpts, and he has a lot of the nice detail. It's one of those things where I can't really explore it more until I get to the comparison, but he does have, I will say this, those Energon blue nipples, I quite dig those, which is, you know, I think it's the only Energon blue on the figure, but it's just another little thing that makes it pop. And he has obviously the purple either side, with the black going through as well, excuse me, and then the purple waist. The whole abdominal section, the paint goes down to the waist as well, which is pretty sweet. And then he's got a nice quantity of black as well on the shins and the feet, and the piping bars on the forearms and the upper biceps. But that head sculpt is, I mean, it just looks gorgeous in that gunmetal with the purple bug-eyed visor type setup he's got going. And that the yellow peg, combiner peg that goes down the middle, I don't mind that. It breaks up the purple and the black nicely. I don't think it would have worked in purple because it would have broke up the black. Or I don't think it would have worked in black because it would have broke up the purple. I feel yellow was the best option for it. He has all those nice fucking sculpted details. He's got the little bags that Hound has, and the canisters on the side of his legs, and the pipes. And I'm really looking forward to comparing the two, seeing if there are any differences. I don't know if there will be. Little Decepticon symbol on his shoulder there. Let's get to his articulation. To his head. It's the usual articulation. You've seen it twice already with this mould. Head goes 360. Arms can go out, can go back a little bit, but that's mainly for transformation. They go all the way around. He has the upper bicep swivel, elbow, ratcheted elbows. No wrist movement. Obligatory waist swivel. Legs go out, legs go forward, knees bend. And he has the thigh swivel as well. And then a little bit of foot action, but that's mainly for the transformation, I believe. So a bit of an ankle tilt, and the toes can come out. But I don't really see how that's going to help. Okay, let's not beat around the bush. Let's get the comparison with Hound done, shall we? Because there's not really a lot to cover about this guy individually, other than he's nice. It's everything I like about Hound, but in mustard yellow and purple. Okay, so head sculpt and paint aside, it doesn't look like there are any real differences between Hound and Swindle. Both very nice head sculpts. The shoulders seem to carry the same detailing. Obviously different faction symbols. Hound's Autobot symbol seems to be a bit bigger than Swindle's Decepticon one. That may just be placing. The chests, they look identical as well, just painted up differently. And waists and crotches both look different. Hound has a nice silver waist with the yellow lights. Swindle just has a straight purple waist. Forearms, all that sculpting appears to be the same on a Hound as it does on Swindle. Which isn't a bad thing, because the fucking sculpting on this figure is amazing. It's some of the best sculpting I've seen in a Transformer. Fucking Combiner Wars or otherwise. We go down to the lower legs, the upper thighs. They're all the same, just different colours. And the lower legs, they both have what appears to be identical lower legs. So yeah, there's not a great deal of difference. There's no sculpting difference at all. It's just one's green, one's yellow. But again, not a bad thing, because it's still a fucking cracking mold with some gorgeous details and grooves and ridges in it. I haven't got him transformed. Bear with me a sec, I'll bring in Rupp for a final comparison. Okay, so due to the identical moulding of Swindle and Hound, basically any differences between Hound and Rook, Swindle will have the same differences. So obviously the difference, hands, head, chest, the waist is different. Upper thighs seem the same, lower legs seem different. Rook has the extra wheels. So there's really not a lot to say in terms of differences. If you want a more detailed set of differences, you want me to go into more detail, check out the Hound review, because everything that's different sculpting wise between Swindle and Rook would be highlighted in the Hound review, because I went into more depth there. But this was mainly the comparison between Swindle and Hound to see if there are any differences between those two, and there aren't. Therefore any differences between Swindle and Rook will be the same as the differences between Swindle and Hound. Okay, so that was quick. I'm going to get Swindle into vehicle mode, and we will have a look at him. Okay, so Swindle as a Jeep is still everything I loved about Hound as a Jeep. It all goes together really nicely, the way the bells on the arms line up, the pipes on the arms, sorry, line up with the canopy, and the little bags and the detail and the sculpting it's beautiful. It really is a massive success in my opinion. There's one complaint I have about, particularly the Swindle one, a little bit of purple maybe, because the yellow really dominates this vehicle mode, and I guess it's fine with Hound. He's got the little star on his Jeep. We'll get to a proper comparison in a minute, but you know, Hound was mainly green, but Swindle had that lovely purple in his robot mode that's nowhere to be seen in the vehicle mode, which is a bit of a shame. I'd like to have seen some purple in the vehicle mode, just to break up the mustard yellow, or the desert yellow, whatever you want to call it. Other than that, it's still the really nice Jeep from Hound that I enjoyed with Hound, even though this guy came first. But yeah, the detail is off the charts, and it's a beautiful figure. It really is. And the reason I'm not as excited as I was with Hound, neither is better than the other. I don't want my less excited approach with this figure to make, I don't want anybody to think that I'm not as high on this figure as I am on Hound. It's just a case of, I think I'm suffering remold fatigue myself a bit now. It's we're at the very latter stages. Like I said, I'm on my last Scramble Combiner. I've got Cyclonus, Ultra Magnus and Devastator after this. But it is a case of been there. And I've been there twice with Hound and Rook. I know I've done 4 versions of like Dead End with Prowl, Smokescreen and Streetwise, but there was always something different with those. Not just the paint apps. Dead End was massively retooled into Prowl, Smokescreen and Streetwise. Fucking Off-Road went from Off-Road to, that's another one I've got 4 of. Off-Road to First Aid, and then to Ironhide, and then to Trailbreaker, and it kind of regressed on itself to Ironhide, and then there was something new to pick out with Trailbreaker. It's, with these, Hound and Swindle, they're the same exact mould, which again isn't a bad thing. It's a fantastic mould, but it is getting to that point now where I've been there, I've done that. And honestly, that's why my reviews, I said they'd be longer. I think they're becoming quicker because there's less to talk about with them as I go on. I'll probably be the same with the last 3 and maybe Onslaught as well. It doesn't mean I don't like them. It doesn't mean I'm not enthusiastic about these figures. It's just, it's nothing new at this point. So, yeah, apologies for that. Anyway, that's that bit of explanation out the way. Let's compare the vehicle modes. Okay, so 2 Jeeps, 1 SWAT truck. It's, I'm not going to go too in depth. Swindle and Hound are identical in mould. So any differences, again, that I showed with Hound will be the same with Swindle. Still very fucking nice. I do really like these figures. Hound, I've just noticed, has painted lights there that Swindle lacks. So what I mean about there being, if there was just a smidge more paint on Swindle, like maybe if there was some purple around there, that would have brought it out a bit better. I don't know. I feel like they could have added a bit of purple somewhere just to throw in that. See, that purple's lovely. It's not bright. It matches the rest of the toy. It's a good purple to have with this figure. I just feel like there should have been a bit of it in vehicle mode other than the Decepticon emblem. Sorry. But yeah, obviously the differences between Swindle and Rook are apparent, as they were with Hound. Other than that, there's really not a lot to go through. Like I said, if you want a more definitive description of the differences between these two, you might as well check out my Hound review, because Swindle's differences are Hound's differences. Anyway, quick look at them in their vehicle mode while I can balance, and we'll get to Swindle's limb modes. Okay, Swindle's leg mode is just like Hound's leg mode. It's really good. I mean, the detail really adds to it. You've got the peg that sticks out. You've got the nice pipes that all match up really nicely on the back. Or this, like Hound, could be the front, if you want that to more resemble a calf muscle. It works either way. Again, not a lot different to discuss here, because it's the same as Hound in every way except colour and head. But yeah, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just I've done it before, and it's just, you know, it's hard to get excited about the same things twice or 3 times. So yeah, it's still a great toy, don't get me wrong, I still love the figure. It's just, I've been there. And again, very good leg mode. That's all there is to say. Check out his arm. Okay, Swindle's arm mode. Again, successful. Like Hound, like Rook. Very good arm mode. And a little bit of that purple's starting to come through. Just on the waist bit there. But at least it's a little bit more colour to break it up a bit. Not a lot else to say, really. Good arm. I think that about sums it up. So yeah, Swindle of the Combaticons. He is a very good figure, like Hound. I really enjoy it. The sculpting is amazing. I feel maybe a lick of paint more, bit more purple on the vehicle mode. Succeeds as arm and leg. Yeah, definitely a really good figure. One that I don't mind having 2 of, 3 if you count Rook. But yeah, it's if I seem less enthusiastic, it's because, you know, I've done this already. This whole Combiner Wars thing is starting to take its toll a little bit, if I'm honest. Because it doesn't matter how much vigour or enthusiasm I bring to this. I'll be reviewing Vortex, fucking Blast Off and Brawl next, and we've all seen them. And then I'll be reviewing Onslaught, and we saw him with Hotspot retooled. Which is quite funny, really, because my Combiner Wars review started with Hotspot. And it kind of comes full circle, because the Scramble City versions, the Scramblers being the versions that you can mix and match, Devastator isn't a Scramble City combiner, because his Constructicons only belong to him, whereas with the others you can mix and match. But the Scramble combiners begun with Hotspot and they end with Onslaught. So it's kind of like full circle. We're going back round to that mould, and believe me, that wasn't intentional. I just realised it recently. But yeah, so Swindle. Again, he's good. I like it a lot. Find it very attractive. Sculpting's beautiful on this thing. Yeah, bravo Hasbro for this figure, honestly. If you want me to be more enthusiastic about this, again, go watch Hound, because I was really marvelling at it then. But by the time I got to this, I've reviewed all of Menasor, I've had a rant about Supergirl, and yeah, I've seen this before. So, that wraps up my maybe somewhat placid, I don't want to say apathetic, review of a cracking toy. Sorry if you haven't enjoyed it, but such is life. I'm getting to the end now, and I think it's starting to show. So don't for a second think that I'm just ignorantly sat here being all, yay, it's all great. Because no, I know it's starting to wear a bit thin. And I'm sorry for that, but I promise I've got 4 more of these repaints, and then I can move on to Cyclonus, Ultra Magnus, Devastator. It's fresher material once I get past Bruticus. Even though Bruticus is fucking great. Anyway, In Dezaras Prime, you've been awesome and patient, and I thank you for your time. You shall see me next time. That's too many Ims. Adios, amigos. Can't even fucking say that. I do Adidas as an ironic play on adios, and I just fucking merge the two. Combiner Wars! Bye.